Before meeting Kody Brown, Janelle was a practicing member of the LDS Church. She left the church to become a member of the AUB and join Kody's family as his second wife. But now that she and Kody are no longer together, is Janelle still religious? After viewing new episodes this season, some Sister Wives fans wonder if her faith ever mattered much to her at all. Sister Wives fans debate Janelle Brown's commitment to the church. After leaving Kody, Mary decided to seek an official release from the church. Christine adamantly declared she didn't need a release, while Janelle was more on the fence. As far as fans know, Janelle still hasn't asked the church for a release from her spiritual marriage. However, she hasn't completely ruled it out either. But at this point, does she even care what the church has to say? Janelle doesn't care what God thinks. A social media user shared online this week. Season 19, Episode 20. When Christine and Janelle are driving to NC and discussing Janelle getting a release, Christine asks Janelle if she had talked to God, and what did he say? Janelle said no because she didn't care what he thought. The OP went on to ponder how committed Janelle Brown truly is to her religion. They concluded their thoughts by stating they loved Janelle, but they didn't understand her thought process. Where does she stand with her faith? Viewers think the TLC star is faithful when it suits her overall. Other social media users had varying opinions. Some thought Janelle was still deeply entrenched in her faith, even if she was no longer a practicing member of the AUB. I heard it more like she didn't need their former church's approval since they were no longer with that church. I thought it sounded more like the church can't tell me what to do versus how it matters to God. Maybe I wasn't listening well enough. I'm not sure she understands her position either. In the past, she claimed faith as the reason she did not formally divorce Kody. She claimed that she would live polygamy again due to her faith. I think much of what they all say is really just performative and not at all their truth. Janelle was only interested in Kody. If it took religion to get him, so be it. I think Janelle was a cafeteria-style polygamist. She picked and chose what she wanted and left the other stuff behind. No faith required, just what meets my needs in the moment, just like Kody. Where do you think Janelle Brown stands with her faith? Was she ever truly devout, or was she just faithful when it suited her? Add your own thoughts and ideas to the conversation below. Sister Wives Season 19 continues this spring on TLC. Follow TV shows Ace online to keep up with the latest news and updates on the Brown family. The world of reality television is often built upon sensational drama and larger-than-life personalities. Few shows have managed to blend the complexities of polygamy with a public-facing narrative quite like Sister Wives. The Brown family, fronted by Kody Brown and his 4 wives, has captured the hearts and minds of audiences for over a decade. As the family navigates the ups and downs of polyamory, religious beliefs, and family dynamics, one of the most captivating figures in the series is Janelle Brown, Kody's second wife. While the show has often presented the struggles of polygamy through the lens of religion, loyalty, and personal identity, Janelle's own journey has become one of self-discovery and defiance against traditional norms, especially when it comes to religion. In recent years, Janelle has developed a reputation for her unapologetic stance on independence and self-care, particularly when it comes to her evolving views on religion. What makes her journey particularly interesting is her open defiance against the very faith that initially bound her to Kody and the larger Brown family unit. Janelle's story within Sister Wives highlights a deeply personal evolution that speaks to the struggles many face when the teachings of religion and personal well-being clash. For Janelle, it's not just about defying Kody, but about finding herself within a system that often demands total submission. A background in faith. Janelle Brown was raised in the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, FLDS, a strict offshoot of the mainstream Mormon Church that practices polygamy. This faith system places heavy emphasis on obedience to God's will, as interpreted by church leaders, with the practice of plural marriage seen as both a spiritual commandment and a means to ensure eternal salvation. Janelle's entry into the world of polygamy, alongside Kody Brown, was deeply influenced by her religious beliefs at the time. Like many other members of the FLDS community, she was taught to see the practice of polygamy as sacred, and her place as one of Kody's wives was framed as part of a divine plan. As the seasons of sister wives have unfolded, it's become increasingly clear that Janelle's relationship with religion has transformed. While the show initially depicted her as someone who was comfortable with the teachings of the LDS and the role of plural wife, Janelle's stance shifted over time. A growing sense of individuality emerged, culminating in a quiet but powerful declaration that she didn't care what God thought about her decisions, a sentiment that would have been unthinkable in her earlier years. A shift in perspective. Janelle's change in perspective about her faith is not just a plotline designed to create drama on the show. It's a reflection of the personal struggles many people go through when they begin questioning the very beliefs they've been raised with. There's something deeply freeing, but also isolating, about realizing that you don't have to adhere to religious dogma in order to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. Janelle's struggle is universal in that sense. It's the conflict between societal expectations and the voice of personal truth. For Janelle, the shift began with small but significant moments of introspection. In one of the show's more poignant scenes, she opened up about how her perspective on religion and polygamy had changed. She acknowledged that as she aged, her faith no longer provided the comfort or answers it once had. Her connection to the teachings of the FLDS seemed less like divine guidance and more like a set of expectations that did not necessarily serve her well-being. This moment of clarity marked the beginning of Janelle's emotional departure from the rigid framework she had once embraced. Over time, she began to prioritize her own happiness and mental health above religious dogma. In conversations with Kody and her fellow wives, Janelle's approach to religion became less about conformity to what others expected of her and more about her autonomy as an individual. Her decision to put herself first, to question the deeply ingrained beliefs about what she should or should not do, was a radical act of self-love and defiance. It was as though Janelle had come to the conclusion that her worth didn't depend on the approval of a higher power or the validation of a religious system that, in her eyes, had kept her confined. The meaning of not caring what God thinks. When Janelle said she no longer cared what God thought, it was a declaration of independence. It wasn't a rejection of God, per se, but a rejection of the ways in which her faith had been weaponized against her. For Janelle, the religious framework that had once guided her life no longer felt relevant or healthy. Rather than fearing the judgment of a higher power, she began to assert her own judgment over her life choices. This shift is profound because it signals a broader theme that many people experience when they decide to trust their own instincts over the doctrines of organized religion. It is about taking control of one's life and recognizing that there is power in personal autonomy. Janelle's journey is a quiet rebellion against the notion that a person's worth must be validated by someone or something external to themselves. For years, she had lived under the belief that her worth as a wife and as a woman was tied to following a prescribed set of rules, but now she had come to see that true value lies in the self. In a world that often demands compliance to social, religious, and familial norms, Janelle's stance offers an inspiring reminder that it's okay to carve out one's own path. Her decision to challenge the authority of both Kody and the FLDS teachings was an act of reclaiming her own life. It was a way of saying, I am more than what has been assigned to me. Conclusion: Janelle Brown's journey on Sister Wives is about much more than navigating the complexities of polygamy. It's about personal growth, autonomy, and the courage to break free from systems that seek to define her. When she says she doesn't care what God thinks, It's not a rejection of faith or spirituality, but a powerful statement of independence. In the end, her story reminds us that our lives are our own, and that the courage to live authentically, even when it means questioning long-held beliefs, is perhaps the most profound form of faith we can have.